Yo, Panther Nation. What's up? It is us
What
again.
it
No, you're
is.
not seeing things. We're alive, back to back days. All right. You're not tripping. It is us. Two fans in the stands. I'm your favorite armchair GM,
Already.
CJ.
And I'm your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. Come on one time. Yeah.
All right. Tony. I know I just talked to you yesterday, but how you doing today, cuz?
Man, you know me. Got six in one hand and half a dozen in the other. Guess I called even on this fine Friday morning,
Yeah,
6:05
Friday.
a.m. for me.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's Friday morning for you, Thursday night over here, man. But thank everybody for pulling up. See, we got Uncle Quan in the chat, Mr. Hunky Dory. What's up, Doug? Dig it, Jackson. He said two effing nights in a row. Yeah, hey, yeah, I know. I know. I know. Hey, look,
Yeah,
jazz
yeah.
hands Tony all the time.
You know it. You
All
know
the
it.
time.
Ain't nothing
Yeah.
changed.
But we wanted to come live today and talk about the introductory press conference that Dave Canales and Dan Morgan had earlier. We just want to, highlight a few things and just kind of talk about it, give our points of view, and see what y'all in Panther Nation got to say as well. Okay. I do want to show Uncle Quan's comment. He said they got to show me. I'm not buying into anything this year, Bryce included at this point. Show me the improvement. And I can't do anything but agree with that. I agree with everything in that statement. Everything.
Hey, I'm laughing. Quan got it off his chest before we even got started. He was like, "I'm not with the shit. It don't really care what y'all say. This how I feel, and that's what it
Yeah,
is."
yeah. But
But no,
but
I
go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying I feel him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to show improve this year, and Bryce is no exception. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he not dissolved of any of this blame or any of the things that went wrong this past year. He was the quarterback, so
Mm-hmm.
it's football is the ultimate team sport. So when you blame one for a season like this, you have to blame everybody. Now,
Yep.
I'm not gonna put a percentage of blame on who or whatever. They all to blame. So he's not dissolved of any of it as well. So, but yeah, that's how I
Hey,
feel about it.
whatever 100 divided by 22 is. 22 plays, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Shit, put
Right.
hey, you know what I mean? He's one of
Yeah.
11 on offense. He's one of 22, offense and defense. Mr. Hunky
Yes,
Dory said,
sir.
Quan, I feel better than I did with Rule or Right. I agree action is better than words, yet I feel better or more confident. You know what, Mr. Hunky Dory? I don't know. I still got to go at what I've been saying and err on my side of just I'm trying not to feel any type of way right now. I'm really trying not to feel any type of way. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. The reason I agree with Mr. Hunky Dory and I agree with Quan, and I feel a little bit more confident for the super fact. I don't feel like we were sold a bill of goods in the press conference yesterday. Dan Morgan, Dave Canales, like, look, number one priority is doing what's best for Bryce. Number two, each and every day is win the day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody giving no guarantees. They saying we're gonna do this, do that. But what Dan Morgan did say, hey, we're gonna be tough, gritty, and we trying to bring that old feel back. So That
Facts.
that's that, that's what I'm excited about. There was no talk about no all-star, coaching staff and
Mm-hmm.
all this. I mean, it was more energy and enthusiasm, and you could tell with those two young guys, they're ready and eager. Like Dan Morgan wanted to go upstairs right now, put his head in the film room. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's
It,
I feel confident that they're going to obtain what it is that they set out to do.
okay. And I feel you. I feel you on being confident they can do it, but I just don't want to get my hopes up. Not not yet. I've got to. like I said, it's got to be a win regular season. Preseason has to look good, way better than it did last year. Because, like I said a few lives ago, I was worried after that first preseason game with the Jets, but in my mind, I was like, okay, cool, it's just preseason. They're
Right.
not showing their hand, they're not showing the whole playbook, this, that, and the third. And I should have went with my gut, and I should have voiced my concerns. But that was last year. Like Dave Canales said, we're looking at what we got now, and we're gonna move forward. So, hey.
Well, I'm gonna use a very old analogy. This how I look at things. It's like, yeah, I saw that. So it's like I understand the skepticism that people have, and I also understand the ones that are optimistic. Both are very valid points. Everybody has
Mm-hmm,
their reason to be a little, optimistic, and the ones that are skeptical and show me first. I definitely understand that as well. But I'm not gonna harbor on the past. It's like a relationship, you know what I'm saying? You can't
mm-hmm,
move forward if you always dwelling in the past. If you always thinking about what happened to you, last year, the year before last, or the past 4 or 5 years. Well, what
mm-hmm.
about the present and the future? I think that's where the focus should be. Because the past is the past. We can't change that.
Oh
We
yeah,
we got-
you're
we got
right.
screwed over by Matt Rule. We got lied to by Frank Wright. We witnessed non-playoff teams the past 5 or 6 years. It's been what it's been, but it's a new day. So it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to say that it's a new day, but you always constantly looking back. So
You
hey, it is what
yeah.
it is. Move forward.
You know what? Everything you said is even more fuel for what I said. You know how I feel. I'm still I'm still not with it yet. And like you said, every day is a new day. Okay, but I want to see
Yeah,
that sunrise. And when the sun rise, that means we doing something. We still in the dark right
I
now. We
got you.
still we still waiting on
I
the sun to
got you.
come up. We still in the dark. All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
That's
But I
fair.
want to,
No, that's fair.
but yeah, I wanted to get into the press conference here, and I'm going to invite Doug up here with us. What's up, Doug? How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I'm surprised Tony
La-
don't got no
la-
eye boogers for us tonight.
la- ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Doug after dark.
Ha! Look, I'm actually eating, but I got something for you. I got the camera, lights, everything on. Yeah, go ahead and look to the ceiling.
Oh my goodness, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Doug after the dark." Oh my god,
CJ,
yo,
don't
Oh
encourage him.
God.
Don't encourage him.
huh?
No, I said don't encourage
Right
him.
on
You know
time.
he'll keep going. You know
Hey,
he'll keep
I
going.
can't, Doug. I can't help that one. That was all right. That made me laugh. I had to say something about that one.
Hey, listen, CJ can't talk. 'Cause, CJ is the king of you know
Being safe,
throwing shots. So he
throwing that
really can't
shade.
say anything.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. I own that. Oh yeah, I throw shots every time I get a chance to.
Yeah,
You ain't talking nothing new, that player. All
yeah,
right, but let's go ahead and get into it, fellas. I wanted to start off. I kind of got it fast forward a little bit where Dan Morgan and Dave Canales talk about the type of player. Well, Dan Morgan talks about the type of players that he want to bring in, and Dave Canales talks about the culture and how he wants to see things ran in the organization. So let's go ahead and start with this one. And let me know if y'all can hear the audio. Oh, and also, any of y'all in the chat, if you want to jump in, chime in with us, talk about it. The link is in the chat. Feel free, jump on in and holler at your boys. All right.
Likewise,
already.
just kind of wanted to talk about like the type of players that we want to bring
Y'all hear that?
Yeah,
Okay.
in here, and just DNA wise. First of all, we need to find those leaders, those competitors, as Jay Stu would say, those dogs. Like we need some dogs. Like we got to get some guys that are passionate about football, that love football. They want to come out every day and compete on the practice field, in the weight room. We need competitors. We got to bring that back here. We got to bring that back here to Bank of America Stadium, to where people get excited about coming to see our team. we're super passionate about bringing a team that the fans can be proud of, that our players can be proud of. Like when teams drive up to this stadium, we want them to fear that logo. The logo has to be feared again, because right now it's not feared. So we got to get that back. But I think it starts with getting the right type of players. And it's
All right. So that was the first part I want to get to. What are y'all thoughts about what Dan Morgan said?
Hey, you see the intensity in Dan Morgan eyes? Dan
Mm-hmm.
Dan want to suit up right now. That's that's the difference when you have a former player, especially a player that played at his level, running the ship. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
when he knows what a gritty, tough nosed dog look like on the football field. You know what I mean? He knows what he's looking for when it comes to a certain type of player, and he looks laser focused. He don't look corporate up there. He didn't sound all corporate. He sound like a football player that just came out the locker room and put on the suit and going right back in the locker room and putting on his football gear after the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I took from it.
So I would
What
say
about you, Doug?
I would say this. My guy Quan, my co-host over at What's Up Doug, also over at the Pinch Experience with Uncle Quan. I texted him, said Dan Morgan looks nervous. When you first see
He
the
did.
pressure, he was very nervous. I think the nerves came out throughout the entry. I mean, the entry out through the introductions and through the presser. But if you're telling me right out the gate, Dan Morgan was nervous. I mean, you can
As
see
hell.
I mean, reading off the cards, shaking of the hands. I did public speaking for a class. When I say he was nervous, it was visible that he was nervous. And I think the pressure hit him when it started. Like, I was here before, but as an assistant, now it's my show to run. And I can't mess
Mm-hmm.
up.
What?
Go ahead,
What?
Tony.
No, I'm saying but I don't see nothing wrong with him being nervous.
No,
It,
I'm not
yeah.
saying nothing wrong with it. I'm just breaking it down first because again,
Um.
I mean, you can see it though. But again, this job, he knows what he has to do. Another thing that
Right.
the word that I'm gonna spell out is that D, capital D, capital A, capital W, capital G, capital S. We don't have dogs on this team. And that's one thing
No.
that
Very few. Very few.
I'm glad when he said that. We need some dogs on this team. And that's gonna really show me how they hit free agency and get these draft picks. I want
Mm-hmm.
nasty offensive linemen, hit you in the mouth type football players. On the defensive side, like we call them hard mollies. No, I want slap. I mean, I see slap, fat, sloppy, nasty offensive linemen. Like, you know, the big uglies. That's what they used to call them back in
Yeah.
the day where they called them hard mollies.
Yeah.
Big
Big
uglies.
ugly.
For me, it was Dan let it be known. We're the laughing stock of the NFL right now. Nobody takes Carolina serious. When you
Facts.
come into Charlotte, oh, we're just here. This is almost a guaranteed win. They're gonna lay down for us. They might put up a
Yep.
fight, but they're going to ultimately lay down. And for him being a player for this organization and now being in the front office for it, he knows, like you said, and I actually want to say he said 20. He said 03. He didn't even allude to 2015.
Yeah.
He alluded to 03 during his playing
Mm-hmm.
days. And he was like, you remember when we saw those white towels waving?
What they call them, the growl towels or something?
Yeah, that's what they were called. That's
Yeah. The
exactly what
crowd towels. Yeah.
So what I'm looking at is he knows what the city, and I think we all said this with the hire. Dan Morgan knows what the city of Charlotte needs. He knows his organization wants, and he knows the pressure that the fans are going to put on him. And I think
Fact.
he definitely laid it like, I'm here. Like target practice, I'm here. But I'm letting you guys know that we're going to do our job as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you,
Well,
man. For me,
what did you think, CJ?
oh Lord have mercy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It came up.
like, hey.
My bad. But for me, when he was talking about having the players and having dogs, I took that as shots fired. You know, I took that as he was letting everybody on that roster know going forward. If you don't have what we're looking for, we're gonna replace you. And if you want to stay here, you better figure it out. If you ain't got that dog in, you better find it real quick.
What was funny? What was funny about it? Is when he was saying it, and he was strictly looking at the older players, you know,
Mm-hmm.
from those type of days. He did not even mention not one current player.
We
Like he
don't
didn't even
have
get
any.
past.
Tony, we
He
don't
yeah
have
he.
any.
Well, I no, I take that back because Derrick Brown's a dog. Now I don't care what
Okay,
nobody say. I'll fight tooth and nail. I stand on all 10 on that.
so
Derrick Brown a
I
dog.
will ask you this: the season that he had this year, did you see that his prior 2 years?
I saw some of it last year. He
Yes or
wasn't
no?
as
Give me a yes or
his
no. Give me a yes or no.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
say no. I'm gonna say
Thank
no.
you. I'm gonna say no.
This was
I'm gonna
his
say
best
no.
year. He
His
was on a
best year.
different level this year. We have
Yes.
not seen this Derrick Brown before this past season.
Facts.
Okay, we
So
have
Facts.
not seen this Derrick
so
Brown. I'm
so
not
here
saying
we
that the
go.
previous Derrick Browns were bad,
No,
but we
no,
haven't
no,
seen
no.
this. I'm going to take you and throw you across the field, Derrick Brown.
You know why? Let me just quickly explain. Tell you why.
You know you don't do nothing
Last
quick.
year, last year in this scheme, Derrick Brown played in the same position that he played in college. His first 2 or 3 years in the league, they had Derrick Brown basically playing out of position. He's not a nose tackle. He's not a one technique. He is a three technique defensive tackle where he can win one-on-ones. When you put him in that position, which they did this year, majority of the time, you saw what happens. 'Cause if y'all remember, Matt Rule, they wanted him to gain weight. Then they wanted him to drop weight. Then they wanted him to play inside. Well, when you have same thing I said about Bryce Young. What made Bryce Young, that's what you need to build around. That's what you need to focus on. What made Derrick Brown, his his sophomore and junior year at Auburn, that's the Derrick Brown that we wanted to see. Last year, in my opinion, was the first year where he actually played in the position that he normally plays in, that he played in when he was at Auburn. And we saw the production of that. That's all I'm saying.
That was a lot, but again, he still ain't produced because at the
Whatever.
NFL level, like he didn't produce. That's it. He did not produce, and it's no shade again, Tony. It's no shade against him. We're just saying we don't have dogs because again, for your GM to say that, if you got a dog on your team, you will say we need dogs like X, Y, and Z. Regardless if you got that one dog. If you got that one dog, you're gonna make sure that one bulldog is at the front of your line. So what he's saying is we need dogs on this team. He didn't say, oh, we have a dog and we need more dogs to join him. Again, like you said, he showed a little bit, but at the same time, it was glimpse. That's the word that you said. You said glimpses. Glimpses means hit or miss. You're not showing that every single game out. That's all I'm trying to say. I still think he is a dog, but again, this is his best year.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. This year is hands down his best year. This is one of the best years in the past 25 years for a defensive tackle in the NFL. So of course this would be his best year. But I mean, you know, we could debate this all day. It ain't even about Derrick Brown, but you know, in my opinion, Derrick Brown is a dog, and I love the intensity and attitude that Frankie Louvu plays with too. I
Correct.
would say that Frankie Louvu is a dog. And we know the past 2 years he's been very productive because we were saying last year that Frankie Louvu should have been voted to the Pro Bowl easily. So,
So I would say this with
so
Frankie Louvu. Glimpses. Because when Shaq Thompson, yes, he played out of position. A thing that you just said. But at the same time, um, glimpses where Frankie Louvu, I say the Atlanta game. Atlanta game he played, that was one of his worst games this year. The first game of the season out the gate. Frankie Louvu should have had a lot of blow-up plays that he did not. But again, I think you have a coach that's going to hold you accountable. You have a GM that's going to hold you accountable. So if you're not going to be held accountable, you don't need to come to the Carolina Panthers.
Hey, back. I feel you. All right. Now
Facts.
let's get on to the next one here. The next one was after Morgan finished. This was Dave Canales, and he was talking about the kind of culture, that he wants to bring to Carolina.
That our players have every resource at their disposal, that they come in here and they got a plan for their body, they got a plan for their mind, they got a plan for their whole person as they walk in, and that this building stops everything when our players come in and say, how can I help you? How can I serve you? That's the type of place that we have to be. It definitely speaks to the coaching staff being developmentally minded. I don't care about what we can't do. What can we do? Who are these players that we have, and how are we going to maximize those strengths on a daily basis? We're looking.
Okay. So what do y'all think about that? Now that's something that um for me personally, didn't hear that last year with Frank, but I kind of like what he said. He broke it down into levels. We want to have these players their minds right. We want to get their body right. We want to have everybody on the same page. But let me say we did hear a little bit of that last year with Frank, right? But this to me just it feels different. It feels a little bit different. What do y'all think?
Go ahead, Doug.
Alignment. That's the word that he was really using, was a lot of alignment. We're on the same
Yes.
page. Align this, align that. Again, it starts with the GM. It starts with the GM and the head coach being on the same page.
Mhm.
Also, I think he alluded that energy whenever he got out that Escalade
Doug, I'm gonna
walk
need you to turn. I'm
door
gonna need you to turn
yesterday.
your OnlyFans alert down.
He got me on that one. Look, he did. Yeah,
Oh
nah,
boy.
he got me on that one, boy. He got me on that one. Oh.
Damn, Tony, you done mess his whole train of thought
No, he
up.
did. He got me on that one because I wasn't expecting that from Tony. That's the reason why. He got me on that one. All right. So when you look at when he walked in the building yesterday, you could definitely tell the energy was there. He let the staff know before they even had his press conference. We're here to help the players. The
Mhm.
players make me look successful. I mean, you can give me all the success, but it's based off of the players. Um,
Right, right.
and again, it's accountability. I have to be accountable to get you guys ready. The strength staff, I mean, he pointed out different parts of the staff of the building that have one job to do, and do your job, and then I'll do my job, and when it can come about it. That's where I say no agendas. We just need to be a winning team, a winning culture. And then he didn't say the winning culture part, but he just said no agendas, just win games. And like I said, the
Okay.
attitude that
Right.
he brings out and what he states, I love. But again, like I got Quan has said as well, I'm not gonna get too high or too low because words mean words, but production on the field is two different things than showing me words or having pressers.
Exactly.
Okay.
But at that same time though, it's like, I seen a few people talking about it last night on Twitter and things like that, and it was like, you know, not wanting to be sold, a bill of goods or whatnot again. But my thing is like, what do people expect these people to say when they hold a press conference? You don't want to hear them talking about something negative. You don't want them instilling negative hope or, you know, talking about patience, because we know everybody is not patient. We are a very impatient society. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying that what they said isn't true, but we have to stop acting as if we want them to say the things that we want them to say, but then we want to criticize them when they say it. That's like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate the fact that I walked away from that press conference yesterday that I didn't feel like I was sold a bill of goods. I didn't feel like I was told a lie. I heard two former football players talk football talk. That's real plain and simple. They ain't sound
Mhm.
corporate, they ain't sound like they just came out of Goldman Sachs boardroom, and start talking foreign language. No, they talked about football and how to build it from the top to the bottom. So that's what I appreciated yesterday.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? And I I like the fact that when they were asked questions, and we get to the questions in a second, but they gave answers, and it looked like they answered to the best of their abilities. Especially Canales. You can tell Canales, he's a talker. You ask him a question, and if you can't answer the question, or if he's because one question he was like, I'm that's kind of in house. Not going to say anything about that because I don't want to give the rest of the division any kind of upper hand on us. But he
Right.
was very just matter of fact. This is what I like to do. This is what I want to do. And especially with the main topic that everybody's talking about is what is he going to do to help Bryce Young? And we'll get to that in a minute. But I thought when he was talking, him and Dan. Now Dan, like Doug said, Dan, you could tell was very nervous. His
I was
voice,
gonna talk about that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
his voice was
said it.
crackling. Yeah, his voice was
He
crackling. He was
said it.
reading off the paper. But if you just listen to what he said, he was very matter of fact as well. He was like, "This is what we're going
Right.
to do. Well, this is the plan. This is what we want to do, and we're going to go out there to the best of our abilities to try and make it happen." So that's what I like. They were both very matter of fact. Go ahead, Doug.
So CJ, I will say this, and I brought the point of I know y'all like what is Doug looking at? I'm watching Carolina girls at NC State.
Oh, you
So
good?
um the thing for me is we've all like we're doing a show right now. You have your talking points, but Canales was just authentic. It was real. It was in the moment. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
nothing rehearsed. I think Dan's answers were kind of rehearsed, but he also had
Mm-hmm.
the upper advantage because he knows the media that we have here at Carolina. So he knew, you're gonna have Joe Persons, David Newton ask those hard questions. You're gonna have the Charlotte Observer. You're gonna have Carolina Blitz there. You're gonna have the media outlets there. So I think he was kind of playing and he knew how to answer certain questions, but Dave was just in the moment. It was everything in the moment. Nothing was rehearsed, nothing was programmed, nothing was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let me have my wife, practice questions with me. It was live in the moment, live reaction, live reaction.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
hey,
On the
Tony,
fans again.
my OnlyFans, they said you got an email coming here, so you'll get a free preview here in a few.
Oh my God.
No.
All right. Next on the docket. All right, moving on. Okay. The next clip I'm gonna bring up here, Steve Reed from the Associated Press. He asked both of
That was a
them
good one.
about what was the blueprint for turning this team around, turning this organization around, and if they had a timeline. So it was part of that question was for Dan Morgan, and the other part was for Dave. All right.
From the Associated Press. Dave, certainly welcome to Charlotte, and Dan, congratulations on your promotion. I think you guys answered all our questions in your preamble there. But listen, I think fans want to know. It's been 6 years since this team been in the playoffs. It's been 8 since they won a playoff game. What do you feel like is the blueprint to get there? And secondly, most importantly, how long do you think it'll take?
I think it's about alignment and process. We got to have processes in place, and we got to be aligned in our building, and we're all moving towards the same direction, and that's towards a championship. So, to put it simply, I think that we got to roll our sleeves up, and we got to get to work, and we got to find the type of players that we want to infuse into our locker room, into our building, get winners in this building.
My timeline's today. How can we win today? Let's have a great interaction here. Let's start talking about what football you can expect out of us. And so today, this looks like a win for me. And that's just the way I think, just approaching every single day. It's 1st and 10. I got a new set of downs. My whole call sheet's at my disposal, and got a bunch of fantastic people to go to work with today. It looks like putting a great staff together for me right now. It looks like getting with Dan, looking at this roster, and really coming up with an airtight plan for who we want to become.
Hey, let me go ahead and say the one thing that I really liked about that was when he said, "I got a whole playbook at my disposal." Let me tell you that really stood out to me because I really felt like last year, and I've said this before, in the preseason, Frank Wright had 5 plays, and it got to the regular season, he had 11 plays, and 6 of them were different variations of the same play. and I'm gonna stick by that until somebody can prove me otherwise. And if any and if anybody was wondering what we was laughing at while that video was playing, Mr. Hunky Dory says porn illegal in Dubai, he be in prison. He's talking about Tony.
Don't worry about it. It ain't just gonna be labeled that. It's the teacher's pet edition. So Tony, be looking out. That's the title of it. Look, be on the lookout for it.
Oh Lord!
I'm gonna turn my VPN. Just turn my VPN on. I'm good.
So what did y'all think about that question asked by Mr. Reed from the Associated Press? Well, those two questions about the blueprint and how Dave Canales answered about the timeline.
Well,
Go ahead, Doug.
I mean, you said it. I mean, he has a playbook at his disposal, but I'm a allude to his past, and I'm not talking about Tampa Bay. I'm gonna talk about the 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll brought him in. He really didn't have any NFL experience. He learned from Pete Carroll and had to be like close to the hip, understudy type deal. Because again, Geno Smith let us know how much involvement he had in the playbook, how much involvement he had with Russell Wilson and Geno's development. And I think if you really look at it, the playbook, I love where he said, I have a whole playbook to my disposal. Just look at what Seattle's able to do. And this is where I know TMJ may be safe, but may not be safe. I know a lot of people are scared about big body receivers in Carolina, but look what he's had at Seattle, and look what he had at the Buccaneers. And
big body wide receiver,
big body wide receivers. And what can help Bryce Young with that? Throwing a 50-50 ball up. And like T. Higgins, a person that we want as a free agent, he said 50-50 balls are an 80-20 ball for him. So I think the timeline, and I also think the personnel, it's going to be a process, but I think he knows what he signed up for. And I'm just glad that we didn't have, and this is no shade to anybody else's fan base. I'm just glad we didn't do or had to do what the Washington Commanders had to do.
Doug, focus.
Oh, look. I'm gonna tell you this. If I try to interrupt me, if this was Duke and Carolina, y'all better be lucky that I love y'all, because I would not be on here right now.
Oh, we wouldn't be on here neither. We wouldn't be on neither, but
no.
I mean, what you saying, Doug? I mean, you ain't the only Tar Heel fans around here.
But no, where I'm getting at is, I actually think he wanted this job. We got a person that wants this job. I know the whole thing about Ben Johnson. Let's just look at the Commanders. Again, there's no shade to them. They had to go from Ben Johnson to McDaniel. Now finally getting your cross rival, Dan Quinn out of Dallas. So I think when you had a love relationship with a coach that knows this is not going to be a night and day, this is going to be hit the ground running, get my hands dirty, but I'm willing to show. And again, I hate where people are saying, oh, Dave Canales needs to come in and help Bryce. He's a rookie, people. He's a rookie. And I want to say, I forgot, I was watching something earlier where they alluded to Houston was an anomaly. How do you say the word?
Anomaly.
An anomaly.
I mean, that's not going to happen. What CJ Stroud was able to walk into, no, it's not going to happen for most rookie quarterbacks. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, why couldn't Bryce do this, or et cetera? And I think with the process that we have now, and you have a coach that has worked with shorter quarterbacks, that has been sort of a quarterback whisperer, it's going to be light years. Bryce is going to look light years. And again, it's no excuse. And I agree with Tony. He has no excuse now. He had an excuse because he's never played NFL football. But now it's time for him to actually show. You have 16 out of 17 games underneath your belt. What are you going to do and show for it, for growth?
Right. But you know what? The thing that stood out in the press conference yesterday, when he was talking about, he mentioned Jim Caldwell, and Jim Caldwell still being a part of the staff, and it kind of made me think, well, if he's still a part of the staff, he wasn't part of the, of the cleaning house per se. that maybe he didn't have as much sway last year as some people may think or may want him to have. But I think by him being a rookie head coach, having someone like Jim Caldwell that he can lean on, bounce ideas off of, that can kind of help him maneuver in this space because it is fairly new to him. I think having someone like Jim Caldwell, focus, Doug, focus.
I'm listening to you.
Having
I heard
someone like
everything
Jim
you said.
having someone like Jim Caldwell would be a benefit to him. So I don't want that to be missed. That the fact that we kept Jim Caldwell, he's still here.
I will say this though, Tony. Another name that people need to know: he does not have a job right now. Is Pete Carroll. I saw reports where his son might come, and I will not be opposed. I would not be
Pete
opposed
Carroll,
of. Hmm?
Pete Carroll moved into the organization. He moved into an organizational role in
He
Seattle.
did, but he was also trying to get jobs as well.
Yeah, but I
So
think since the
so I
fact that
mean,
he
I'm
didn't
just
get a
I mean,
job, I think he
it's
gonna chill in. I think he gonna chill in Seattle.
I mean, if he does, he does. But I'm just looking at it as another senior advisor. No, we don't need a lot of hands in the pot. But I'm looking at it as bring somebody, which Jim Caldwell is very respected around the league. But I would not be surprised if Pete Carroll does not stay in his role with the Seahawks. That I do think he will. I think Canales will give him a call. Get a freaking rebound. That's all I got.
Okay.
Oh, it's worse.
You know,
It's worse for the boys.
we
It's worse.
Hey,
It's
let, let
worse.
me let me ask y'all this. Now I heard somebody mention earlier today where they said they were concerned because nobody mentioned the word rebuild. Okay. Does that concern either one of y'all that rebuild was not mentioned in this press conference?
No.
I don't know. For the fact that they didn't mention it, that doesn't mean that's not going to happen. And
Mm,
after the Super Bowl, when we get close to free agency, when they start scouting these different players in different positions leading up to the draft, when they start making moves, when Brent Tillers gets in there and really break down the salary cap situation and things like that, you'll be able to tell what's a rebuild and what's not just by the decision that they make. You
Oh,
know,
Tony, why you think Tillis was there today? And that was the
mm-hmm.
biggest surprise out of everything today.
I'm
Everything
listening.
everybody said. This man is
why
still.
you think that was a surprise?
That man's really. Well, I'm not gonna say he's not supposed to be here because I don't think we'll do something. He's supposed to be in Kansas City because he really can't start with the Carolina Panthers until February 12th.
I
That's
heard he
not true.
hasn't been with
They,
the
no,
team
But he
he
in
has
left.
the playoffs at
yeah,
Yeah,
all.
he cleaned his office out, but he's still
Mm-hmm.
underneath. Like that's like I give my job 2 weeks notice. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still with them.
but you
He-
but in the NFL, you can't be announced working for another team if you still on a contract with the other team.
He's
That's
still
like
on his
that's like
contract
saying
though.
I don't think so. I don't
But
believe that.
that's the reason why he can't work. I would be shocked because I thought that, from my understanding, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. From my understanding, he was still a part of the organization. He just cleaned out his office because he knew that after the season, because I think that's where people were saying they were waiting for us to announce it even after they played the Ravens. So he could have
Mm-hmm.
been let go
Okay.
between now and then. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying it has been officially announced he's on the Panthers website. And
Mm-hmm.
he's also was at the press conference. You cannot be employed with two different teams. You can't be on the payroll in Seattle and then be introduced as, whatever with another team. You just can't do that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move right along here, and I think her name is Carla Gethard, but Fox Charlotte, and she asked about how would his experience with other QBs, translate into what he could do for Bryce
Be-
Young.
Before, before you start that video, shout out to Kristen Balbone and glad to see her back in the building. I don't know
Correct.
exactly her health concerns were, but
Right.
she took a year off. I was
Mhm.
missing her because I like how she do interviews and interact with the players and things like that. So shout out to Kristen Balboni. Good to see her back.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Charlotte, my question's for Dave. You mentioned your experience with quarterbacks. I want to know how that experience might help continue to develop Bryce Young in his second year.
Cause she ain't
Attention
it.
to the details first and foremost. It all starts off with relationship. Bryce and I just getting to know each other. I want him to know that I have his best interest at heart. I want him to be the best possible version of himself. That's the same approach that I've taken since I've been coaching positions in the NFL, and that's really the approach I want to take with him. Some of the other things that kind of come to mind thinking about the quarterbacks that I've worked with over the last couple of years is we are going to become what Bryce is great at in the pass game. We're going to grow to the capacity that he can handle. There's got to be a commitment and a discipline about that. There was a growth curve there with Baker. Here's where we're at today. Based on the information we have, let's get into these situations to see where he looks most confident. When I see that back foot planted in the ground and that ball rips out of there without any hesitation, I know we got something. Let's find more of those. Let's put it in 3 different personnels and a couple formations and motions.
All right.
That part.
Yes. That part.
That that
He said we're
that
gonna
part.
be as good as we gonna be damn, I forgot that quick. He said we're gonna be as good as we go, damn, what did he say? I'm sorry. The part about Bryce, he said we're going to build this offense to be as good as Bryce can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
My bad, y'all.
Yeah.
You
Major
good?
brain fart there. But what do y'all think about his statement there overall?
Go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead, Doug.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Um, no, I think that's exactly right. And I've said it more than once. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, especially the top 10 or even first overall, history has shown us, well, I don't say history, but in the past 15, 20 years, whoever that quarterback is, more times than not, the head coach builds his offense to the strength of that quarterback. Last year, it didn't happen. We tried to, well, Frank Wright tried to fit Bryce Young into his triangle read offense instead of building the offense that fit Bryce Young. So, like I said, the same thing that made Bryce Young a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, the same thing made Bryce Young the first overall pick, same thing that made him, top 2 quarterback coming to high school. Those are the things that you need to utilize. Those are the strengths of Bryce Young, and that's what you need to build your offense around accordingly. So to hear him say that his main or number one priority is playing to the strength of Bryce Young and build around that, that's what you want to hear. Especially after what Bryce Young and the team went through last year. You don't want to hear about
Facts.
somebody else coming in talking about, well, we're gonna see what Bryce can do and see if it can match up with the scheme that we want to run. That's not what he said. No, we're gonna build our scheme around his strengths.
well, you don't have
Okay.
to worry. CJ, did you want to go?
No, I just said okay. That's all.
One thing you got to know, we're not going to have the problem of Bryce Young and another quarterback. Your coach knows that Bryce Young is his quarterback. He wanted to come here because of Bryce Young. He even talked about their
Facts.
draft board. Bryce Young was ahead of CJ Stroud on their draft board. The article actually came out. I don't know if the article came out today, but a lot of people were retweeting it on Twitter that Dave Canales and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has Bryce Young over CJ Stroud. I think Bryce did not get a fair shot because of how ruthless our fan base is, and the terrible decision making that David Tepper has done since being the owner. So I know that's the reason why it was. That's the reason why it was. Tony, don't you say nothing. That's the reason why it was such hostility
Understand
between
we
the
have
fans.
mute buttons.
That's just why we had so much
Okay.
hostility between the fans. But I think Dave knew that Bryce is his quarterback, and I think he wanted that. I really think he wanted that, and he looks like the type of coach that wants a challenge, meaning that I don't want the give it to me. I don't want the handouts. I want to get my hands dirty. Like he said today, he was a JV head coach. And look at where he's made it to now. Even if you look at everything he was doing, he was a trainer. His wife had to work 3 jobs. Everything that their story had to do, they got it out the mud. Nothing was handed to.
Exactly.
Nothing was
Mhm.
handed to. And if we look at the type of organization that we have, what type of organization are we had? A gritty, nasty, get it out the mud type of organization.
Okay.
Yeah,
Facts.
you're exactly right.
All right. Now the next clip I wanted to go over David Newton. He had asked Morgan a question, and then
Oh,
he asked Canales about how he felt after coming to Carolina after 3 coaches had got fired. Okay. So let me pull that back up.
David Newton is a dumbass. Okay, go ahead.
About coming to an organization that has fired 3 coaches in 5 years?
Oh, I don't think that way. I'm talking about today. I want to win today. And so for me, coming into this situation, same like Tampa is like, I want to look at what we have. What can we do? Not what can't we do? And that's just my mentality.
All right.
short and sweet. Ain't nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Steve. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Short and sweet.
I like,
And
I
I
like,
really like that.
I would
yeah,
say,
I like,
go ahead.
I
Go
like
ahead.
I like how he curved that question.
Hmm.
But I mean, even I would have. I actually wish we could have. Well, I don't know if you got the audio piece. Hope I'm not jumping. But even when they asked David Temper, "Are you gonna do an interview with us?" I'm staying out the way. I'm in the background now.
No, I don't have that one.
Yeah,
I didn't
he
get
said
that.
that. I forgot who asked him that. I want to say it was Joe. Joe asked him, "Can
Mhm.
you do an interview with him?" He was like, "Nah." He said, "I'm good. I'm in the background now."
Hey guys, Joe.
Okay.
So I'm saying I'm alluding that to what he just said about the previous 3 coaches. Reason why we had previous, well, since he's the 3rd head coach, not interim coach, but 3rd
Mhm.
coach
Right,
underneath David Temper is
David.
because of David Temper. So
Okay.
and again, I think Dan Morgan is that middleman where we don't have to worry about that anymore.
All right. Hey, well, look. Well, let's hope so. I just like the fact, like y'all guys said, he just shut that question down. I'm not entertaining that. We're not talking about it. I'm here now. I'm here to fix it. Next question. Let's move on. So that's what I
Hey,
took
but
out of that
but you
one
know
right there.
what though? Quiet as kept. This was Joe Person's moment to throw shots at
Oh, it's
David
all of
Tepper
them.
ever since
Oh,
Oh
Tony,
no.
all of
Oh,
them
he
every
did.
at him.
He did. That's coming up
every
next.
since David Tepper faded him out in that press conference. They've been waiting for this moment. I
They
was in
light him
here
up.
cracking
They've
up.
been
You hear
ready to
me?
light him
I
up.
was like dying laughing.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that
the
was too
next
funny to me.
the next snippet is Joe Person, and he asked Dan Morgan a question about the the factions and everything was going on with different coaches, and kind of alluding to the snitches and the moles and stuff. And then he also asked Dave Canales about keeping Ejiro Evero. All right. So let's pull that up here.
Is
Here in
Doug
the
taking a
4th
nap?
row. I've got one
Hey,
for
Joe.
each of you. So I'll start with Dan. Hearing a lot of talk about alignment. How much of that and how you guys wanted to restructure the front office and build Dave's staff has to do with last season when there were lots of reports of factions among the staff and even going all the way up to ownership?
I think it has to do everything with just moving forward. And, we're not looking back, we're looking ahead. We all want to be aligned, the business side, the football side, the locker room, the weight room, everybody on the same page, same mission, same vision. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about alignment. The whole building has to be on the same page. If we want to win, we all have to be on the same page. And we got to be communicating every day. We got to know the building inside out, and we all have to be aligned, plain and simple.
Dave, you mentioned Ajero. What's your
Yeah.
what's your confidence level? Is the defensive staff going to be back intact?
Oh my gosh. I mean, just the respect factor that I have going against them. I know the scheme going against it. I'm really excited to learn more about the ins and outs as far as how the calls come in, the adjustments and all that. I just know it was really difficult on me for years, whether it was in Seattle going against the Rams in that family, or this year just going against EJ twice. So, and this is really important for me, especially as a first time head coach who's like, I'm here to make sure we get our football right, especially on the offensive side, that we have that continuity with the players, with EJ, you know, just being able to have the mentality that I saw that was really challenging to play against.
All right. Comments on
Go
that?
ahead, Doug.
Which one? You want me to start with the Evero, or you want me to talk about Snitchgate? Which one?
Talk about Snitchgate first, then we'll get to Evero.
I really think we're not gonna have that problem. Again, I hate
Okay.
that story came out. I'm glad. Now I'm not gonna try to be vulgar when I say this, but I'm glad Canales had the balls to let go of James Campen.
Pause.
I ain't gonna say no pause. It don't bother me. I'm glad it don't. Like I said, that don't bother me. I hate people that do that pause, because I mean I'm younger than y'all, and some stuff used to be said. Nobody say no goddamn pause. Like that's that
Doug,
new
focus,
generation.
Doug. Focus, Doug. Focus.
Oh, no,
Hey,
you
look,
said pause.
you
You
started it
do it.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
see,
started
that's what
something.
I'm
Leave him
saying. She
alone.
threw me off. Oh, but no, all jokes aside, I think we're not gonna have that problem. Dan Morgan is a no nonsense type guy. We know how he was as a player. And that's the one thing I'm glad Canales was able to build his own staff with no hands on from Dan Morgan or David Temper. Let me bring my guys in. I know why I'm hiring them. I know the job that they can do. We didn't have to hear that the GM had any connections, or David Temper had an opinion about any type of coach that we brought in. So that's one thing I am glad about. Uh, Another point that we made last night, James Kempen hasn't even been interviewed for any coaching job right now. And I think that news coming out, it kind of hurt his reputation, because you're a well-respected coach, but you go behind your head coach and report to the owner.
Back and then wrap up.
So for me, that the Evero, real quick, I knew that. We talked about this last night with Evero. I knew Evero was going to be staying put. Once we got the news about Boston College and what the Rams did, only job that I am worried about would be the Dallas Cowboys now. With Dan Quinn going there to Dan Quinn going to the Commanders, only thing I am hoping is the Cowboys hire within or promote within. But if not, I can see where he may get a call from the Cowboys, and we can block that call as well. But Dan Canales has been having respect for Evero since we played them the second time at Bank of America Stadium, and he knew that was a must key for him to keep keep a key piece of the puzzle for our D coordinator to be here. Because again, that's going to help with free agency. I think if we had to get a new defensive coordinator, it would have been a big problem. It would have been a big problem.
Hey, and Doug, when you said you wish the story hadn't come out, I'm glad it came out. The story about camping and all of them, because for me it does shed a lot of, in my opinion, it sheds a little bit more light on the way things may have been going on. And you never know, it could have been risk between the coaches, which in turn led to not risk between the players, but there could have been some communication issues. Coaches not getting along. There were problems in the locker room. So I'm glad that news did surface, and I'm glad we were able to put, if you were investigating and you were trying to investigate and see what happened to the Carolina Panthers last year, I think this was a key piece into figuring out why our season went the way it did. Okay, it's not the whole piece, but I think it was something that was worth mentioning. So, Tony.
Yeah, I like the fact that Snitchgate, or whatever we want to call it, is out and over with. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So it was what it was. again, me, I'm just looking. I'm looking forward and just waiting to see what this new regime is going to do. Pretty much. What was the second question?
About the Evero.
Evero, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think if they didn't already have a good idea that Ivero is going to be the defense coordinator, they wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm pretty sure that's something that Dave Canales has talked about with Dan Morgan and upper management. So I think it'd be safe to say because I think they still have the right to block interviews with
They do.
Ivero. So if they want to keep him, all the head coaching positions are filled now. So if they want to keep him from making a lateral move, they can do that. And I'm under the assumption that either they want to do that or he really wants to stay. I'm not gonna try to speculate too much about it. The fact that he is here and that it looks like he's going to be retained is a very good thing for us.
Well, the good thing about it too
Right.
is Twitter, Panthers Twitter was lighting up because people that were there were reporting that Evero was actually in the building and he met with Canales after the presser. So they did have a meeting this afternoon. How that meeting
Okay.
Okay.
went, we do not know. But I mean, like Joe Person, Sheena, they were all saying, he's back. So I know once, the live presser,
Okay.
everybody's able to talk. And I actually
Mhm.
wish we could have, would have got more of that talk because everybody's retweeting he may be back. It looks like he's back. And again, that news about Dan Quinn, I want to say it happened right after our presser, if I'm not mistaken. So that's where things could change. But as of right now, I do think he is going to still be retained, even though you do have the Commanders and you do have the Cowboys have to filling out their the coordinator jobs. I do think we do keep Evero. And a good thing about it is you do finally, out of all the coaches that we've had on the staff, you finally get your third round pick for a minority hire. But that's here nor there.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Cool. All right. So the last little part of this press conference I wanted to highlight was when Dan Morgan was asked about not having a first round pick and was it a priority for them to trade or maybe jump up into the first round, and this is what he had
Right.
to say about that.
On the back and then wrap up with Alex Zietlow from the Post.
Michael said, Fox Charlotte. Dan, at the moment, you guys do not have a first round draft pick. How high is it on the to do list to get one?
It's not really high. I mean, we have the 33rd pick, which is essentially a late first round pick. We're just going to draft good players, and hopefully at 33, I think there'll be a good player there. If we choose to move back, if we choose to move up, that's to be seen. But we're going to plan. We're going to have a plan, and we're going to execute on that plan.
All right. What do y'all think about that? Go ahead,
I
Tony.
think that's hey that was a fair question, but the answer was also fair too. He's not going to show
Mhm.
his hand. He's not going to let people into their way of thinking going forward. But like you said, he understands the deficit that he's at. Coming into this season by not having a first round draft pick, but I think it's going to be imperative. Um, it's going to be very important for them to hit on the picks that they do have, and
Mhm.
as long as he go and get the players that we truly need, you know, players that can make a difference, be a difference, you know, to personify those characteristics that he's looking for as far as being tough, gritty, being that dog. Hey, I'm all for it. So, I think, like I said before, I believe this is going to be a 2 to 3 year project at least. I don't think it's fair to say that he needs to hit on every single draft pick. Nobody hits on every single draft pick. Even the ones that do hit on their first 2 or 3 picks, that's cool. but I don't want to put unrealistic expectations on him. I want to see him make good, solid decisions when it comes to free agency and the draft. You know, I always say this about a lot of people feel like it doesn't matter where you play. Well, yes, it does. Talent matters. And when we talk about
Mhm.
somewhere like the ACC or the Big Ten, those boys that play each other every Saturday, iron sharpens iron. That's a saying for a reason. When you playing against the best week in and week out, it tends to bring out the best in you. So if you're in the NFL, you want to bring in NFL caliber type talent, where you need to go and get NFL caliber type talent. You know,
Okay.
don't bring a dull knife to a gunfight. That's all I'm saying.
Not a dull
Don't
knife.
don't yeah, don't bring a dull knife to a gunfight. Just because it look good, don't mean that knife is sharp.
Yeah, facts. Hey, but I'm
Fact.
going to slightly disagree with you, Tony. And I want Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, I want them to hit on all the picks this year. Okay, because we have had a bad track record. We've always, in my opinion, we've been in that lower half. First round picks have usually been good. There's been a few that's been sort of in. Second round maybe, but third round and beyond, it's been a couple, but nothing to really write home about consistently year after year. Okay, and then we're saying this the next season, and this has been this way for a lot of years. Oh, such and such was right there, and we could have picked him. So and so was right there, and we could have picked him. And a lot of times it wasn't necessarily like, well, that person that got picked wasn't anything that we needed. At times it were players that we did need, but Carolina just passed on them. I still question the trade to jump up to get DJ Johnson last year. You know what I mean? I'm still just baffled at why they felt like they had to go up and lose a draft pick, to pick him. So now, if
Yeah, I
they
agree with
want to
that.
make some moves and jump back in the first round, it's got to make sense and it's got to be an impact play. I think somebody come in and start day one. What I would like to see them do, if somebody wants to move up to that 33rd pick and just say they have like the 34th or 35th, 36th pick, and we can jump back maybe 2 spots and gain a draft pick, I wouldn't be mad at that. And if they could still go in and get the player that they wanted to get, something like that. But I think that they need to hit on. I say at least 75% of these draft picks. It's got to be damn near spot on this year.
What is your definition of hit on all the draft picks? Does that mean that each draft pick that we select need to come in and be a starter day one, or like what's your definition on hit on the draft picks?
Go ahead, Doug.
I'll say this: we're going. First, I like to tell Tony we're going to be on every
I,
trade.
I couldn't see him. I couldn't see his hand up because it was so dim, back of the class. Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
Well, you actually know, Mr. Tony, we're gonna be on every trade. You know that, right? So, every trade. I'm gonna put the Carolina Panthers out there. We're gonna do an offer. BS. Dan Morgan. He's gonna get dogs. He lets you know what he's looking
Right.
for. DNA. One thing that you could not question out of Dan Morgan was his DNA. Intensity,
Facts.
Crazy.
playmaker, and accountability, and accountable for his assignment. I'm praying that we're not shopping at Dollar Tree and Dollar General anymore. I'm hoping that we're at
Facts,
Kroger, Whole Foods, and HEB. That's what I'm really hoping for right now.
Not ATB.
Hey,
They
HEB.
don't know nothing about that no cackalack.
Hey,
is that like Publix?
I would tell you this. Let me
Yeah,
play some my North
HEB is like Publix in Texas. Yeah.
You got Harris Teeter Food Line. We can shop at Harris Teeter Food Line. I know about Harris Teeter Food Line. I don't want to be at no Dollar Tree.
Hey, food line kind of spotty, dog. I'm gonna be real with you.
Is. You can have a good
food line really spotty around Charlotte, man.
Right. But now what I'm getting at, and I agree with CJ. What we mean by hits, Tony, is not going to be questionable. Why'd you go get DJ Johnson? Or you're gonna have I seen Bucky's. If you don't know about Buc-ee's, you need to come. I don't know where you need to go,
Yeah,
but you need to come to Texas.
yeah.
Whoever said Buc-ee's, you need to come to
You
Buc-ee's.
need a
I,
Bucky's
I
in
want
your
to go to
life,
one of those. I've seen them on
Man,
YouTube.
hey, I'll say this: the
man.
closest
Listen,
Buc-ee's for you is in Georgia. That's the closest
Mhm.
one.
Okay.
But while I'm looking at
Bucket look like 6 Q-tips in one. I mean,
Quick trip.
yeah,
QTs in one
QTs,
with
yeah,
Oh, okay.
with about 50 gas pumps.
a whole
Yeah.
bunch. But no,
Okay.
I just real quick, and I'm gonna get to the
Mhm.
picks because DJ Johnson. If you look at what we picked, everybody was questioning. Look at all the picks that were able to do something or have success throughout the season. If you look at the
Mhm.
Jonathan Mingo, yes, Jonathan Mingo didn't have an opportunity to really play yet. But if you look at all the wide receivers drafted after him, they had an impact. Um, that's what we mean by hit or miss. No, you don't have to be a starter, but you have to give somebody a fight for their job. If you're an offensive lineman, I want to see you get show that
Contribute.
veteran, hey,
Yeah.
I'm coming for your job. Your job is
Mhm.
not guaranteed. That's what we mean by hits on the draft.
Right.
That's what we mean by that.
Hey, let's welcome Mr. Hunky Dory. He is joined us. How you doing?
What's going on?
Mr. Hunky Dory, what is going on, my man?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight? I
Good,
usually
man.
Good,
don't
How are you
talk.
good,
doing?
man.
I'm
Glad to
doing
have you
great.
on.
I'm doing great. Nighttime is my time.
Mhm.
That's when I work. But I want to do. I don't usually talk. You know what I mean? I'm more of a follower and commenter, as you can tell. But I
Mhm.
wanted to chime in about our rookies. Did they really get a
Okay.
fair shake this year? Was the system built for our rookies? It wasn't built for our quarterback. Everything was off. So our rookies really did not get a fair shake in this system this year.
Facts.
The
I give
offense
you
was
that.
it was a puzzle piece, but it wasn't a complete puzzle piece built to fit together. It seemed
Mhm.
like we were getting all the spare parts, shoving them in, and they worked halfway decent. And we had a jalopy going down the road, and but it we didn't have all the correct parts, so nothing worked together properly. It's not working efficiently. So I don't think we
Engine,
can judge
engine
our
smoking,
rookies
wheels shaking.
exactly, and there was no fine tuning. I mean, like you said, we had one playbook, and that's all we had. So we really didn't get to open up. Also, the offensive line was shaky. So nobody got justice this year. Nobody. Rice didn't get justice this year. The new rookies didn't get justice this year. Now on defense, they had all the opportunity, because we were
I was
sticking them
gonna
in left
Yeah,
and
ask
right.
that.
But offense,
we didn't have no playbook. CJ said we had 6 plays on 4 pages.
exactly. Now, how are you able to judge people? Yes, drops you can judge and everything else. Route running you can judge, blocking techniques you can judge, but really the offense was never opened up. It was so
Mhm.
limited, nobody really had a chance because nobody was built to work with each other.
That's a good point.
I agree.
Mhm.
I
Hey,
agree.
I
And
agree. Now,
that's why I say as far as scheme wise, it was so much of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You can't if that's how we feel and things were messed up from scheme, protection, and things like that. So how do we expect the rookies that we drafted or anybody that we brought in for free agency to come in and be able to do what they were supposed to do? The NFL is the ultimate team sport. So when you got 11 players out there, you need all 11 players to be on one accord for things to work right. If one person make the wrong mistake, it can mess up the whole play. So if the playbook and the scheme is messed up from the beginning, well, hell, I don't know
mhm.
what we out there doing.
Well, no, I agree with that, but I go back to now on the defense side of the ball with DJ Johnson and Jamie Robinson. Now, what do you say for them? Because when they were both on the field, they look kind of. I get, and I know they were rookies because YGM was out for a little while, and you still didn't see DJ Johnson play that much. But when he was in the game, you know, being that we traded up to get him and lost, what was it, a third or fourth round pick to the Steelers, you know,
I think our third because we had 2 thirds.
yeah, and
We
they
had
they
2 thirds
drafted
last year.
Darnell Washington with it. Yeah. But what
Yeah.
what what do you say about DJ Johnson? Just him
Well,
for an example.
now here's what I want to tell you the truth. I blame that on
Mhm.
coaching personnel. I blame
Okay.
blame it on the sideline because when you looked on our sidelines, did you see the coaches over there with the players? Did you see them
Never,
over there with the tablets? I never
never,
saw it, not once.
never.
And we had 17 games to fix technique. And sometimes it seemed it was all right, but a lot of times it was the wobbly wheel. It was the wobbly
You
wheel, and it was hitting people, but not wrapping up, not tackling. There was how would you say
talk about
misunderstood
it.
assignments, misunderstood
Talk
assignments.
about it.
That is coaching personnel. That is not player. Now, when a
Okay.
player is there to make a play, and he steps up and makes that play, he's doing what he needs to. But a lot of times we saw them; they were in the wrong positions. Coverage was wrong. That is a coach's responsibility to get him on the sideline, get all of them together, and say, "Hey, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. Real quick. Next play, when the offense comes off the field, correct it." You know what I mean? But I saw no tablets. I saw Bryce Young sitting over there most of the time by himself. You know what I mean? Just like
Mhm.
no tablets in front of him until the end of the season. You know what I mean? Toward the end of the season, I saw a little bit of tablet. You see all the good quarterbacks, Cam, everybody else, they got a tablet. They're like right there looking at it, and the coach is right there
Yep.
with him. Boom, and that's also the backup quarterback is over there with them. Usually, they're going over plays. I did not see that this year. I did not put it on the Jamie and so on. It's coaching personnel not following up properly on techniques and play coverage.
Okay. Well, let's pray. There's still hope for him. You know, look, maybe you
Yeah.
staff can turn this ship around. But yeah, man. But yeah, but that's I would say that's all I have for tonight. I just wanted to break that press conference down just a little bit, give all our opinions and thoughts on it. Get our perspective, get everybody in the chat's perspective, Panther Nation, see what everybody thought. So any final thoughts from anybody? I had the poll in the chat here, and we had 25 votes. And I said, how are we feeling after today's press conference? 72% said good, 4% said bad, 24% said don't know yet. Okay. So I'm gonna go around and ask. I am on the verge of don't know yet. Okay. What about the rest of y'all?
I voted yes. I voted in there. I think I put yes.
Okay.
I
What
am a
about you,
yes.
Mr. Hunky Dory?
I am optimistic, more optimistic than Frank Wright and Rule. I believe that my confidence is better. I feel like the boogeyman's still hiding behind the door. I'm afraid to open the closet door because what's happened for the last 5 years. But after this press conference, after the hires, I am more confident that we are going to have better seasons coming.
Okay.
Who's that boogeyman, Mr. Hunky Dory? Who's the boogeyman?
That's my only fans account. I have to hide it from other people.
We got you. There we go. There we go. That's a good one.
Cha.
Yep. Shots fired. That's a good one.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Well played.
Well played.
That's a good one.
Gotta give it up to you. That was well
Oh
played.
boy. Oh, let me tell you, bottom of the ninth, 2 strikes to hit a home run.
I
That's
ain't
all right.
lying. That
right.
went in extra inning. That was a walk-off homer right there.
There you go. Hey, Mr. Hunky Dory, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Hey,
that.
God bless everybody.
All right. God
Hey,
bless you.
God bless you too now.
God bless you too.
All right, now everybody who's in the chat, okay, if you're listening to us, lasted with us this long, we appreciate you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You follow us on all social media at Two Fans in the Stands, at Two Fans ITS on Twitter, X. I still have a hard time calling the X. It's always gonna be Twitter to me. But yeah, go to all social media sites, follow us, subscribe to the channel. We finally made it over the 900 subscriber hump. We're on our way to 1,000. Last time I looked, we were at 913. We were 905 last night. So I thank you to everybody who is subscribed. But please, if you haven't already, help us get to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. We love and we appreciate all of you. Okay. Any final thoughts, anybody?
No, like I
Go
said,
ahead, Doug.
it's gonna be real quiet. As always, I'm the distant cousin You know, the cousin that Tony don't claim. I know CJ claimed, but Tony don't claim me.
That's a lie.
Hey, look, it don't matter what Tony claim around here. If you good with me, you good, dog. Don't worry about Tony.
But nah, like they said, continue to. I know these guys are gonna definitely do some content. It's gonna be quiet a little bit. Combine is not to the 29th, the end of this month. So, like I said, just hang in there. Still hit that sub button for our guys over here at Two Fans of the Stands. Like he said, they had the 8.
Hey, dude, let me tell you. Hey, you say you can sub on a different email. That is a fact.
That is a
All
fact.
right.
So, like I said, like they've been asking, you know, they're gonna give you guys great content. Again, get them to 1,000. I'm always appreciative of them having me come up. Like I said, for What's Up, Doug, we're gonna be. We may have a live. We might do a little Super Bowl live. Might have Tony and CJ come up. Let's do a quick little hour, talk about the Super Bowl, talk about who we might want to win, etc. But again, I know here before the combine, we do have a special guest from a Panther content creator on YouTube that will be joining us, and we're going to jump right into prospects before the combine. How are we feeling? Free agency and just news around the NFL. So again, look for that, man. And again, I always appreciate CJ and Tony having me join. And again, like we said, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button for them.
Hey, big facts. And like I said last night, for all of you who haven't, go over to Doug's channel at What's Up Doug and subscribe to him and get him up to 2,000 subscribers.
I tried to drop the link, but it wouldn't let me post it in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll post it in the comments. But I just want to thank everybody. Thank you, Mr. Hunky Dory, for again for joining us. We appreciate your insight. All right.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, Tony, anything before we go?
No, man. You know, just like Doug said, we got some things planned for this upcoming season, especially this off season. Some things we're gonna talk about and hopefully roll out by the end of the month. So be on the lookout for that. We are always continuously trying to come up with ways to improve our channel, whether it be from the intro, the topics, things of that nature. So we appreciate everybody that has followed us all this time, stuck with us. We appreciate you, man. So yeah, just look out for new content and focus Doug. Doug, we try and get Doug to focus when
You
he
need to
on with us.
focus, man. Finish.
But that's it. I ain't got nothing else.
All right. Hey, look, everybody, like you said, be on the lookout. We're going to start back up with the mock draft series. I want to try to do some of those live with y'all so we can get everybody's opinion. We're going, like we did last year, we're going to do different scenarios, drafting certain drafts, certain type of players. We go offensive line first. We may go receiver first, mix it up and try some different things. All right. But, okay,
Right.
we're going to get out of here, take everybody out like I always do. 3 things, as always. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And number 3, as always, Panther Nation, it is a new day. There's a new sheriff in town. So y'all make sure y'all keep pounding. Y'all be good. We see you.
Everybody be safe.